Hey, hope you're doing well. A good chunk of the CSS customizations have to do with the menu and the link colors in the menu. By default, Divi on hover just changes the opacity of your menu color, of your link color, instead of being able to set a hover color. Hopefully they'll change that in the future. There's some customizations for this CTA, which is very StoryBrand framework. It's the content framework, and they want a CTA here usually. And then I also style the drop down. And so a good chunk of the CSS is all of that right there. So in this video, I'm going to cover how you can change this main hero. There's a box shadow here, a real subtle one. How you can change that. How you can change the menu hovers here, the colors here, the drop down menu, the highlight menu button, and then also how to adjust this mobile nav, which has this cool background image in it, and how you can change that. All right, so this will be a little longer of a video, but let's get into it. So, of course, first thing I recommend is going to Appearance Theme File Editor, opening the Style CSS, make sure Coastal is selected right here and not Divi, and then copy all of this, copy all of this, and then paste it to a local file on your machine so that you have a backup. Or if you have, you can make like a free CodePen account if you want and paste it into the CSS area in a pen, just somewhere where you can have it saved. Or you can save it in a text file on your computer. Just save it somewhere in case something happens. And then we're also going to have our Divi theme options page pulled open. And we're going to have our custom CSS area right here. This is where we'll override what's here. Okay, so if you scroll down from the top here, this is where some of the header stuff starts happening here. So this first one here, main header box shadow right here, this is where you can change the box shadow for the main header. And also on the fixed navigation, let me go down there. Fixed nav, there is there's some stuff happening down there too. Probably the easiest way to even try to adjust. Let me go over here. Here we go. You can see the shadow here. It's super subtle. I actually really like it. But if you right click right by this and hit inspect in Google in Chrome and and you come up here to header main header, you're going to see that box shadow right here. And this is where you can kind of start adjusting it to your liking. So you can see it's starting to get darker, and I can maybe instead of 400, it's going to be 40. Yeah, actually, I think I want that to be like 80. Maybe this to be 40 or 20 is fine. And so you can kind of start editing it as you see fit. And so you get it how you want it. Then just copy this value and you would paste it. You paste it in your theme options here. So what we would do is we would grab we'd go up here and grab this main header box shadow like this. Come over here, paste this in, and then you'd go to your just a new one that you did, and you would just replace everything here. Make sure it ends with a semicolon, and that's where you would paste it. And you actually wouldn't need that important either, by the way. You could just paste it in. I keep copying it. But yeah, anyway, you get the idea. Like if I said red right here, oh, it's gonna be bad. Red. Actually, I think it's the fixed nav one, so I think we'd want to change the fixed navigation one. Let me go grab that one. Or another thing I do sometimes is, let's say I'm just on this page, and I see right here. Let me go back. Let me go back and grab this header. Sometimes I just grab this right here, copy it, paste that in, do my little open and closing curly bracket, and then copy this. It's going to be a box shadow. So box shadow, dash shadow. And it tries to help you out there. Colon, paste this guy in, but we're going to change this to red now. Ugh. Well, I mean, it's interesting. Maybe it's a hot day, and you're, yeah, no, Anyway, that's how you can change that. Next, let's look at the menu on hover here. Very easy to do. So when I hover over these, I'm on the home page, so it's not going to do it. But when I hover over pages or tutorials, you get that light blue color. That's pretty easy. That's just going to be in the navigation here. Top menu, hover. Copy this. Cut over here. You don't need to mess with this opacity link. Take that out. You paste in a new hex code here. So let's just do, which I think this is like some kind of burgundy color. And let me just try my trusty red again. I think I must have did that wrong. This one you might actually have to change in here. So red, update the file. Let me go ahead and clear this out. I was hoping this would override that, but maybe it doesn't. It could be cached on my computer. No, it's not. I'm definitely not understanding why that's not working. That should definitely be working. So I'm just going to inspect it real quick and see. So yeah, here's some troubleshooting for you. So here's my link here. I'm going to go hit the hover thing and tell it to hover. And I see right here, oh, it's because it's fixed. I see. Okay, so it's going to work up here. Here it's doing my red color. Got it. Okay, I see what was up. So I'm going to recopy this. Yeah, so with the menu, there's two states that it's in. It's either in the regular state. So let's just do my burgundy color here. So there's the regular state of the menu. When you first load it, it's gonna show up with your red color here. But then there's also the fixed nav state, which also has a hover color right here. So I'm gonna copy this one too, and go over to my deal. And change this one to this red color as well. Save changes. So now even when I scroll, it's the red color here. If I inspect this and I do the hover, we're going to see that now it's been updated to this red color here. So yes, that's a good reminder that the fixed nav has its own code, this ET fixed header. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out, and then I'll take it back to what we had before. Next, I'm going to talk about the drop-down. And it's got its own hover colors here as well. And so basically, all that's going to live in the drop-down section, which is right here. So you can see that there's a box shadow happening on the drop-down. Let me go down here to a white section so you can see it. And I think that's pretty nice, but if you want to change that, you would copy this here, and you would change just this box shadow line to what you want. And then here you're going to have your hover. Well, the changes that you make to the main menu that we just did. I wonder if that's still up here. Great. Let me check. Let me take out the ET Fix one real quick. Let me just save this. So up here, it grabs the red from when you change the red in the main menu. But after you scroll, it becomes fixed. It's gonna. There's a different spot for that. So we'll go ahead and find that too. So we have to go down to the fixed nav here. And again, you would grab the fixed nav code and paste it in. I wonder if I can. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, so it's going to change it both for the drop down and the main menu, which is nice. That's what you want. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. And then if you wanted to go up to the drop down, if you didn't want the border radius, you would change this, or if you want to move it closer to the menu, you would change this. I'll go ahead and show you what that would look like. Let me go ahead and refresh, and I'm just going to inspect this. And usually when I'm in Divi working on the drop menu, they hide it, this sub menu here. You can see that it's trying to select it. It's hidden. I just uncheck visibility and uncheck this so I can see it. And here we can see that the border radius is 4. So I can get rid of that, or I can increase it to 94 or 40. And then here's the top with 30 pixels. So I can move it closer to my deal. I can move it further away. Whatever you'd like to do. But that's what these lines are doing. So if I wanted to do that, I would just copy this, come over to my theme options, paste that in. Let's say I like the box shadow how it is, so I'll get rid of that line. But let's say, top, I want it to be super close. And let's say I want there to be no border radius. I want it to be a square. And let's say I want it to be light blue, which I'd recommend using hex colors, not typing in color names. I think that's not great because you're not getting really custom colors. But for example's sake, it works. So you can see it moved it up. And yeah, nope, that was a bad decision. I liked how it was before. Just delete this. And now refresh, and you got it back. So that's the drop down. Let's talk about this highlight color here, because you're definitely going to probably want to change that if you're changing colors on the website. And that is all within this highlight menu item right here. So here you can see the main thing you're going to want to work on is this right here. This is where it's setting the padding for the button, how much room is around this here. It's also setting the border radius, which is matching the other buttons. This got 4 pixel here. That's matching that. And then it's also doing the background color, the color of the text, and then the box shadow. And then this is the hover background color, hover text, hover box shadow. And then there's a separate set for the fixed navigation right here. So you have to do those edits twice. So let's say, let's just do this real quick. Let me copy this here. I'm going to go over, paste this in. Let's say I like the padding how it is, and I like the border radius how it is. But I don't. Well, actually, here we'll do a pill for border radius. We'll say 100%. Background color. Let's go back to our red, and we'll do white for the text. And the box shadow color is going to be red, right? And then hover. Let's go to our blue, and we'll say white for this. And I'm not going to worry about that opacity. And then for here, we'll say blue. Of course, you want to put in actual values, but this is just for demonstration. Oh, it's so terrible. But there you go. It's a spaceship. Now, of course, when I do this, it's gonna grab those fixed header styles. So you have to do all that again. But piece of cake. You could just go down here, and here's the two that you got to grab. Go back over here, maybe give it a couple lines, and same deal. Let's say you like, we'll do a, you know what? We'll say 50% for the border radius, so it'll chill out a little bit. Red, white. Actually, I could just copy this right here. I could just copy all this background color, paste it right there, and then grab these three, and just paste that right here too. Save. Oh. Oof. Now it didn't do the border radius, so let's see why. Border radius 50%. Let's just add an important behind that, like that. And let's see if that gets that changed. Or that actually could be 50%. And it's just oh, it is. There you go. Oh, so terrible. Anyway, I'm going to undo all that, of course. But that's how you adjust that buy now item. And if you don't want this at all, if you don't want this to be a button at all you have to do is go to Appearance Menus here. And under your screen options, make sure you have checked a link target and CSS class. And you'll see here in my main menu, the Buy Now button. It's got this class Highlight BTN. If I cut that and save, then that's not going to be there anymore. It's just going to be a regular link. Or maybe I want this first one to be the special button. I would just paste that CSS class here, Highlight BTN. And now my first one is the button. But usually you want the last one to be the button. So let's, the hardest button, the button, you want to add that down here, like so. And you could use that in your other projects too if you want. You can copy, there we go. You could copy this whole section up here, this whole highlight menu nav, and then be sure just to copy the highlight button, these two rules from down here, and you could use this in another project. All right, last thing is the mobile navigation. So let's refresh this and let's get this down to mobile. I'm going to open this up and I'm just going to right click right here and inspect, and you'll see that it's got a background image of this wave guy here. So I'll show you how to change that. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my media page here, and we'll maybe pick a different, that's the one it's using now, but let's try this guy right here. So I'm going to copy this URL. Actually, I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to go to the mobile menu area here, fix nav, mobile nav, here we go. And I'm going to grab this rule right here. And then, so this rule is determining what image is being used. And then this next rule is determining how dark the overlay on top of the image is. So I'm actually going to grab both rules. There we go. I'm going to copy them, cut over to our theme options, which I think I lost. I'll open that in a new tab. Paste them in. Now on this first rule, I don't need this width mark. All the stuff's great. You can change the background color if you want, but we're using an image, so it doesn't really matter. And let's say I like the box shadow, but that's where you change that to. So let's say I like all this. I'm just going to change this background image. And then let's say in this one, all I want to work on is this background color, because that's the overlay color of the image. All right, so now I want to change this image. I'm going to go over to this image here that I want to use, copy this URL, come back and keep the quotation marks here, like so, but paste that in. Now you can keep your whole, I'm working locally here, but you can keep this all in, or you can take off all the way up to the /WP content. So you can do that if you want. Let's go ahead and save this. Now we'll hop over here, we'll refresh, and there we go. We got this new image here. Now just to show you what this does, let's say I change this to 0. So there's going to be no overlay at all. It's all just going to be 0. And I don't need this page anymore, I don't think. Well, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to refresh. I don't need that anymore either. As you can see, the image is brighter, but it's kind of hard to read the stuff. So then this is just black here. So if I do 0.9, obviously it's going to be 90% of the black color, and that might not be. That's too dark. So you kind of want to mix it in, you know, how you want, or you could use a color overlay or something like that. But that's how you change the background image there for the menu. I think it's a really nice touch. You know, it'd be nice. What could be nice? Sometimes I do this. Like if I don't want to figure out what the color is. Let's say, let me see here. Is this going to work? Maybe. Let's say I like this dark blue color a lot. So what I'll do is I probably want it at like 80%, let's say. So I'll take this down to 80%. Copy this. Put this back where it was. Scroll down here and then just use that for my new value right here. I'll just go in and put that in now. Great. So you can mess around with that, and if you like what I originally had, you just delete all that, save it, and it'll go back to what I originally had. So pretty unique. I like doing things on Divi sites that don't take a ton of plugins and effort, but still kind of makes people go, is this Divi or not? I don't know. And the menu is kind of a dead giveaway, especially the mobile menu on if a site's Divi or not. So I like to keep folks guessing a little bit on that. All right, y'all, that ends up the tutorial for the navigation for Coastal. Cheers.